Hello and welcome to Make It Happen with Will Polston. I'm Will Polston. This is episode number 80, and in this episode we're going to be talking about how to stay positive. But I'm going to start with this. I'll admit it was a bit of a clickbait title for a podcast, because really the first tip is that you can't stay positive. And I know what you might be thinking now, but Will, I've only listened to this podcast because I wanted to know how I can stay positive all the time. But the fact is you can't. And anyone tells you that it's possible to stay positive all of the time is misinformed, because positive is one end of a spectrum, obviously negative being the other. And the optimum place to be is at equilibrium, which is in the middle. And that, for me, as I describe it, is being in a state of gratitude, and we'll be talking more about that shortly. But what you can do is you can identify and control how long that you do feel negative for. And that's really what I'm going to be sharing with you. I'm going to be sharing 10 tips on how you can stay positive more often and be in a positive position more often than not. So tip number 1 is to have a North Star. So I talk a lot about North Star. If you've been listening to lots of my episodes, then you will know that I refer to it a lot. And a North Star is an ultimate goal. It's somewhere where push it right out into the future. It's the absolute dream, and really it's a dream that you're never actually going to achieve within your lifetime, which is great because it means that you can disconnect from it, disassociate from the outcome, and focus on the process. And so many people, I find, are feeling negative on a daily basis simply because they're living a life that they don't want. They kind of know what their North Star is, but they're not living to it, or they just haven't got clarity on what that is, and they're wondering why they've constantly got these, what I call rift symptoms, so stress, overwhelm, frustration, depression, anxiety, unfulfillment, all those negative emotions, is just because they're not living congruently. I found this to become one of the main reasons why people aren't as positive as they'd like to be. They've not got clarity on that North Star, and they're not seeing how certain situations are actually benefiting them when it comes to their North Star. Remember and understand that any negative emotion are simply signals to be thinking or acting differently, and when you know what your North Star is, it can help align you with that. Tip number 2 is one of my favourites: E plus R equals O. A fact is that life happens, and often events will take place that we literally have no control over, or at least you might think that you have no control over. But the fact is we do have control over them, because you have the ability to control how you respond to them. So an event is any external situation that takes place, and the response is how you choose to respond to it. Now, a lot of people go through life reacting to certain situations, and a reaction is an impulse, typically comes from the amygdala, sort of the reptilian brain, whereas a response comes from the prefrontal cortex, our human brain, if you like, the thinking brain, and we can choose to respond to what's going on. And the response that you have to any given event is what's going to determine the outcome for you. So E plus R equals O. Tip number 3 is using the power of gratitude. Now, I think gratitude is one of the most powerful, life-changing abilities that we all possess, but very few people actually use. And one of the ways that I encourage you to use gratitude, if you want to stay more positive, is to write a list of things that you're grateful for each day. Just 10 things. And I like to use the PEBEB acronym, which PEBEB doesn't really, it's not a great acronym because you can't really, you can't associate it with anything, but it is a great little acronym that you can use. And what I like to use, I like to review the things that I'm doing on within the last 24 hours that I can be grateful for. So I think about people, experiences, belongings, expectations, and privileges, and I go through these different areas and I think, right, what people can I be grateful for, what experiences can I be grateful for, what belongings can I be grateful for, what expectations that I have that got met that I can be grateful for, and what privileges have I got that I can be grateful for. And sometimes I really think about some of the what most of us would think of the smaller things that you wouldn't normally think about. You know, you're grateful for the fact that when you picked up the remote to turn on the TV, there were batteries in it. You're grateful for the fact that the toilet flushed. You're grateful for the fact that there was clean clothes in the wardrobe. All these little things that you might be thinking of on a daily basis, if they didn't happen, would be a real inconvenience for you. So yeah, using the power of gratitude. Number 4 is get around positive people. The people you're around on a regular basis has a massive impact on the way that you feel. I believe it's Jim Rohn's quote. It's been attributed to many people, but you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that's not just the people that you're physically around, but the people you interact with digitally on social media, for example, as well. You know, if you're constantly going through your news feed and seeing lots of people moaning and sharing things that aren't necessarily that positive, unfollow those people. You don't have to unfriend them, just unfollow them, or unfriend them if you want to. But if you want to find yourself in a position where you're around more positive people in person, go to events, get online. One of the things that you can do is join the Make It Happen community Facebook group, and you'll have loads of great positive driven like-minded people to connect with there. You can join the Evolve network if you want to be in live experience events and get access to that there. In fact, what I'm going to do in this link, I'm going to put a link in the show notes somewhere for you to get a 30-day trial, free trial to the Evolve network, so you can come and experience it. We run an event every month. You get to connect with people. We have 2 great speakers, but I'll put a link to that in the show notes. Number 5 is win your morning. So regardless of whether you're up at the crack of dawn or whether you're getting up at midday, the first things that you choose to do have a profound impact on your day. So you need to ask yourself the question, do you own your morning or does your morning own you? And if you don't feel like you own your morning, I would recommend getting up maybe a tad earlier, creating a morning routine, and really choosing to have some you time with a morning routine before the day has even kicked off. And if you want some advice on how to create a morning routine, listen to one of the earlier episodes. I don't know what number it is, but it's early on in the episodes, probably around number 15 or 20. And I've got an episode called Morning Routine Magic. Go and have a listen to that. Because let's face it, morning routines are important. Every professional athlete warms up before they exercise, so why shouldn't you warm up for your day? Number 6 is move, and it really is that simple. Move. Exercise is certainly something that helps negative thinking and negative feelings that you might be having, and this is partly due to the oxytocin levels and the dopamine levels and the serotonin levels, but partly it's due to endorphins as well. And endorphins are another hormone that are released in response to pain and stress, and they'll help alleviate certain feelings like anxiety and depression. And when you exercise, these endorphins are released, and that could mean starting with something as simple as going for a brisk walk or doing a couple of minutes of star jumps first thing in the morning. Get your body moving, engage your lymphatic system, which is sort of the body's sewage system, if you like, and get that moving. 7 is talk to someone. So as BT famously said for many moons, it's good to talk. And me working as a mindset strategist, people will often share things with me they don't tell anybody else in the world. And just by them telling me, it makes them feel so much better. Now, think about it. Certain case studies have stated that you could have between 65 and some say as many as 95,000 thoughts a day. And if it's 65,000 thoughts a day, as many as 55,000 of them are the same as what you had yesterday. So if you continue to spin that same thinking around in your head, it's very easy for you to spiral off into some super crazy thinking and get far away from the truth. And it can really, really affect us. And that's speaking from personal experience as well. So get speaking with someone. Now, what I will say is the person you speak to is important. A bit of a disclaimer here, because the person you could talk to may actually have a negative impact as a result of them not really understanding you and respecting your confidentiality. So seek out someone you trust or get a coach that can help you. Tip number 8 is use affirmations. So what is it that makes affirmations so important? Well, it's simple. Your thoughts create things. Why? Because your thinking creates beliefs. Your beliefs define how you live your life, and one of your strongest beliefs is your identity. Anytime you use the prefix I am, an affirmation is being created around your identity. The downside of this is when it's misused, it can leave you feeling negative and very low indeed. Now, the upside is that you can use affirmations any time of the day, and consistent use of affirmations will help reprogram your subconscious mind. So ask yourself, what am I saying? What's the suffix of I am? I am, and then insert whatever it is. Are those affirmations that you're saying positive and aligned with what it is that you want and your North Star? Number 9 is that focus it on feedback, not failure. There's no such thing as failure, only feedback. Often when we're feeling negative, it's because something isn't or hasn't gone the way that we would like it to. And a simple way of reframing this is to understand that you've not failed. What you need to do, however, is look for the feedback. And 3 questions that can help you get feedback are: what have you learned? What can you learn? And what can you do differently next time? Tip number 10 is take action. Now here's a little riddle for you. 5 frogs are sitting on a frog. Sorry, I'll get that wrong. 5 frogs are sitting on a log. 4 decide to jump off. How many are left? The answer is 5. You can make all the decisions you want, but unless you take action, you won't move. So I hope that this episode has been beneficial for you, and there's been at least one thing that you've found that's going to be able to help you feel more positive more of the time. But the key, though, is whatever you've listened to and whatever you've taken from this episode is that you're actually going to take action. So what I would love to know is, what is the action that you're going to take? Come and join the Make It Happen community on Facebook. Post in the group and tag me with what you found beneficial in this episode, and look forward to joining you for another episode very soon. Until next time, make it happen.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Make It Happen with Will Polston podcast. Make sure you join Will's free Facebook group, the Make It Happen community. Please support the show by subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud or Google Play. Share this episode with at least one friend you think would benefit from it, and give Will a 5-star review wherever you download your podcasts. Until next time, make it happen.